And so we have the next abbot to come on the scene, Abbot de Lacy. Now, only last year, the de Lacy family contacted me to discuss the writing the family history. Now, what I want to say to you is, in the old days, if you went to war, whether it was crusade or whatever, they didn't give you a medal like I got. My medals were rusted in the drawer. They gave them land. And so, a lot of people came over with the Conqueror. They got land in England, very powerful people. And the de Lacys had come over with the Conqueror. There was 3 brothers, 3 sons. There was the eldest brother, he built Pontefract Castle. Hugh de Lacy started this church. He came here and started this church. He came in 1100. Now we come to building this church. I don't know whether you've heard of what they call Romanesque style of building, which came over from the east to the west. And it replaced the small one-storey buildings with high buildings with towers on. And so when they came to do Selby, they built it in the shape of a cross. That was the head of the cross, the legs and the arms, 2 transepts. Now, when you look at that today, it's a great choir, but it wasn't. It was built in the French way with 5 apsidal endings and a very short choir. That was a Norman choir. It was replaced in the Scottish Wars. I'll tell you about that later. In 1123, well, to ill health, he died. But it started to build the church. And so, up to the dissolution of the monasteries, with 33 abbots at this church. And as we go around, I'll take you around in the way, how he built it, in the order he built it, because it alters the architecture. In time, architecture changes. And it's not long ago, this few months ago, I had some people from Scotland. They had a small daughter. She had a question. Who tells them when it's time to change architecture? It's a sensible question, but who tells them when to change it?
True.
Now then, imagine you've got a wooden building down there, which is the church. The altar in that wooden building wasn't even consecrated. It was okay for baptisms, but it wasn't, the altar wasn't consecrated. And so, we start to build a stone. This is a flood area. Where do you get stones from? It's difficult, isn't it? It took 28 years to find a stone. When you came in this morning, did you leave at Selby Fork and come down the A63, or did you come another way?
I came the A19, so I came
A19 into Selby. Right, well, just outside Selby, not far away, 6 miles or so, is a place called Mount Fryston, where the quarries were. They got the stone from the quarry. But when you build an enormous monastery, and just excuse me a minute, I'll just show you an artist's impression of what the monastery looked like. Wow, there's your monastery, with all the respective parts.
Right.
Now, as we're talking, you have to remember this. There was no cameras until the 19th century. People had to draw things from memory. That was drawn by a man in 1906. Now, it was pretty good, wasn't it? And he made a few mistakes. And one is this building here.
On the front.
That has nothing to do with the Abbey. That is Selby Castle, which was built by the last of the Norman kings, King Stephen, to collect the taxes, etc. in Selby. We'll come to that a bit later. But this is basically a picture of what size the monastery building was. Now, to get that stone from Mount Christen, 7 miles away, if you like, they built a kind of a canal, what we call back dam. Still there today. It flowed from Mount Christen, and it goes now into the river at what we call Abbey Stairs. Still part of the Abbey buildings. And when but had a problem, because when you build a building of this size, you've got to build it on a tidal river. All the affluent's got to go away. Everything's got to go away. Only right. And so it's got to be planned, hasn't it? And this needs a lot of thought. The architect at this monastery was Flambard. Same architect that did Durham.
Flambard, did you say?
So you get the likeness in the two churches. Fair enough. Now then, you have to have the direction of the water and of the back dam. Excuse me, taking a bit of time.
No problem.
I've got to find. They have an intersection in, and it went round the back, and in back into the river here.
Yeah.
And that was to allow these small boats to go down, turn around and go back.
Yeah.
And it's an important thing. And another important thing about this, when they got the stone, each piece had enough for one man to live.